And I later came to realize that I'm pretty sure I was experiencing my first ever panic attack. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It is your girl, Dutchy. And yes, I promise you, it is still me. I'm just in a different spot in my room right now because it's been a stressful day. It is past 5 o'clock and I normally film at like 12. The sun and lighting and everything in my room has changed, and if I was to sit where I normally would to film, it would be super dark and annoying to edit. So we're here, but I can assure you it's still me. See? Still me. Imagine if I just held this the whole video. So in today's video, I mean, it's quite aesthetic. Maybe I should get the two housemates that are home to just hold it for me. That would be nice. On a serious note, this video is going to be super stripped down. I'm going to be sharing a lot with you guys about the way I've been feeling lately, the anxiety and like panic attacks I've been having. And honestly, I was like, what is the point in putting makeup on right now? I just wanted to be super transparent with you guys. And I know that's how I am on my channel all the time, but yeah, I feel like I just wanted to sit down and sort of have more of a deep chat today. And yeah, I don't know, just keeping everything real with you guys. So I'm sure you are aware of the topic of this video because you would have seen the title and we probably would have spoken about it by now. But I thought with everything going on in the world right now, it was probably a good idea for me to film a video on anxiety and how to deal with it. So last week I experienced some things that I have not before, and I feel like a lot of people around me are experiencing anxiety if they don't normally in their day-to-day life. And it hit me for 6. Like, it was wild, and it was a lot, and I kind of wanted to voice that with you guys because I feel like a lot of people would be experiencing different levels of anxiety right now. So yeah, that's what today's video is on: anxiety, panic attacks, and how to deal with it. Things I did when I had one, and things that you guys could be doing every day to help relieve anxiety. And as I said, I'm someone who will very rarely experience anxiety, especially not being aware of the fact that I'm having an anxiety attack. But with all of this uncertainty going on in the world and in my life and with everyone around me, anxiety hit me like a ton of bricks, let me tell you. Oh my god. So yeah, in today's video, I'm just going to be talking about how to deal with anxiety, how to notice triggers, and just that sort of thing. Obviously, I'm not a medical professional, I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist, so take everything I say with a grain of salt, and it's all completely subjective. Obviously, some things that work for me won't necessarily work to help calm other people down. But yeah, I'm just going to share from personal experience what happened to me last week and what I've been doing daily to avoid that, or at least recognize when it's coming on again. Okay, the lighting is changing and I apologize so much. I'm sure it will change again. I apologize. I hope my color correcting skills can fix that for you when you're watching it, because it will annoy you. It would annoy me. I'm sorry. So yeah, a bit of a different video today, a bit more deep, and I don't know, I kind of just want to get the conversation flowing. I want you guys to be able to come to me on my channel and talk to each other if you are struggling at the moment. I don't want all my channel to just be like fun and laughter and entertainment, and while that's great to get your mind off things, it's also good to be able to talk about feelings and emotions, and especially in this crazy time as well, because we want to be looking after each other and like being there for each other, and I want to be someone who is here for all of you as you are for me. I just think one of the most important things about having a channel and having an audience is being able to be transparent with them, and being transparent with you guys is all I ever want to be. So yeah, let's get real, hey? So anxiety is basically our body's natural response to stress. And the scariest thing about anxiety is it can creep up without you even being consciously aware of it, which is exactly what happened to me last week. I wasn't even consciously aware of the fact that I was stressing about the wrath of COVID-19. Like, obviously I was like thinking about it, and it was all very uncertain and up in the air about what was going to happen. But I actually wasn't consciously aware of how much my mind obviously was stressing about it, and my housemates and my family and just people in general, until I woke up one morning last week and literally was struggling to breathe. Basically, I woke up one morning, I felt like I couldn't breathe. My chest and shoulders were extremely tight. I couldn't take in deep or even what seemed like normal breaths, and I felt super dizzy. And for someone that has never experienced anything like this ever, it was very scary. And I later came to realize that I'm pretty sure I was experiencing my first ever panic attack. Now, as I said, I'm not someone that gets anxiety. I don't really get anxious about much. but this was something else. I had no idea what was happening. I had never felt something like that before, or I had, but to a very, very mild extent of it. So yeah, I had no idea what was happening, no idea how to handle it. And of course, my first thought was corona. I've got coronavirus because of the whole shortness of breath, tight chest, not being able to breathe. And while I didn't just think, okay, wait a minute, like you've been self-isolating, you haven't, as far as you know, you haven't come into contact with anyone who's had it or someone who knows who's had it, you haven't been at work, like those thoughts didn't even pop into my head. Even like, okay, you don't have any other symptoms, you don't have a fever, you don't have a cough, you don't have anything else. Obviously my mind wasn't going there. My mind went straight to, I have corona, great. Who else have I infected, etc, etc. My mind was just like racing, I couldn't breathe. It was not great. And I was kind of just laying there still in bed. Like I wasn't screaming, I wasn't doing anything, not that I could, my chest was so tight, I couldn't breathe properly. Like I would try to take in a massive breath and it would get stunted. It would feel like a half breath or a quarter breath even. It wouldn't be a proper breath. And yeah, that is the worst feeling, not being able to breathe properly. And like I know from day to day, like right now I'm not struggling with it at all. So if I go to take a breath, you're not consciously aware of how much oxygen you take in. But obviously when you're struggling with anxiety or a panic attack, oh, you do, and you are so consciously aware of the fact that you are taking in barely any oxygen. And that's exactly what it feels like. It feels like you're not getting enough, you're not filling your lungs up with enough oxygen. And that's the scary, it's so scary. And like my chest was really tight and sore almost, and my shoulders were really tight, and my lungs, like even at the back, were just like, I wouldn't say aching, just like gasping, like wanting more oxygen than what it was getting. That is what it felt like. So I honestly sat in bed for what felt like hours. I told my housemate about it. I was texting her and I was like, look, my chest is really tight, I can't breathe, like, and she said exactly that. She was like, yeah, I've been feeling that. And like, because one of my housemates does get anxiety, she suffers from it pretty much like every day, not to a panic attack extent, but she like obviously is aware of what it feels like, and she does get it frequently. And she was like, yeah, Megs, like I've had it, I think it's honestly just anxiety, like there's nothing to worry about, you haven't seen anyone, you've literally been at home. And then she came in to see me, and being with her helped a bit. And she was telling me she felt the same way. And she's like, but I get this like every day, so she wasn't as stressed about it. And she's like, I think just with everything going on. So then I was like, okay. When I presented with no other symptoms, as I said, I didn't have a fever, I didn't have a cough or anything else, and had not been in close contact with any other confirmed cases that I was aware of. But honestly, from my own bedroom, that was pretty impossible. I just tried to assure myself that it wasn't that. The whole tight chest, not being able to breathe properly sort of thing, I'll be honest with you, lasted for like 2 days. Not to like the full extent that it was when I woke up, but I think the worst part was like, you don't expect to wake up with anxiety. Like you could have anxiety throughout the day, have a nap, well, this is what I thought anyway, and then sort of like sleep it off and then wake up, and then once you start stressing about things, I can imagine that, yeah, you might get it again. But I did not expect to wake up feeling like that, you know? So yeah, this whole thing lasted like at least 2 days, obviously with varying levels of not being able to breathe and tight chest, but it never fully went away for like at least 2 days, at least 48 hours. It was super stressful. Like, this lighting is awful. Should I turn this up a bit? I don't know if that even helped. Anyway, it was super stressful, and I never want to experience it again. But now that I have gone through it, I do have some things written down that I can talk about that helped me. Like, there's obviously long-term things you can put in place as well, which I will also talk about. If any of you experience anxiety or panic attacks, I really would appreciate if you guys like opened up and spoke about it, things that help you, things that might help others, because I don't want anyone unprepared for that. And I'm not saying that this is obviously going to trigger anything, but there is a lot of uncertainty going on in the world right now with this whole pandemic. So if you guys can be as prepared as you can, that would make me happy, because honestly, that wasn't fun, and I don't want you guys to be going through anything like that unprepared. But I also don't want to stress you guys out. Some of you might not even get anxiety, which is awesome, and might not even experience it throughout this time. For those 2 days, I basically just stayed in bed. Like, walking up and down the stairs wasn't great because felt like I couldn't breathe. So I pretty much just stayed in my bed, watched Netflix, had baths, and did other things that I'm going to mention shortly to help distract myself and take myself out of that situation and out of everything that was happening physiologically in my body. And while I'm definitely not an expert on the topic, like heck, I wasn't even aware that that was a panic attack until I spoke to people afterwards. I just wanted to open up the conversation with you guys about it, just about anxiety and panic attacks, and try to offer as much advice as I can on it, because yeah, as I said, as you can probably see, I am shooketh by it. Like it was a lot. It was a lot. Every time I upload, you guys seem to be like, thank you so much for distracting me. And so I want to try my best to not like stress you guys out, but I also wanted to be honest and like show you guys that I'm not immune to anything going on. I'm just experiencing every single emotion that you guys are, every single thing that you are feeling or thinking. Trust that I am feeling exactly the same. I've done some research on the topic, and obviously some of these things I did as well, just from advice from housemates that also experience anxiety, and just things that I know help me when I'm feeling stressed, not so much anxious. I thought the two kind of went hand in hand, and there's a lot of things that I do obviously to cope with stress in terms of YouTube, like filming and editing and sticking to a schedule, and having that pressure of growing your channel and always having to post and create content is stressful. And I definitely have ways to de-stress and clear my mind and things, so I just incorporated those into this whole anxious panic attack thing that I did. So basically I've got 5 quick ways to cope with anxiety if you feel an anxiety attack coming on, or if you do start feeling super anxious about something. I've got 5 little tips here. They're just short term, they're things that you can do straight away, and then I've also got some long term things that you can start incorporating into your routine to hopefully decrease the chance of having a panic attack or getting super bad anxiety. The first thing you can do to cope with anxiety is question your thought pattern. So if you are feeling anxious about something, you've got things running through your mind, really question why you were thinking those things. For example, when I was like, oh my god, this is corona, I'm sick, like blah blah blah. Not the first thing I did, because obviously I was freaking out, but eventually I questioned, okay, who have you seen that has it? No one. Have you been at home for the past week? Like, have you been in self-isolation? Have you been doing everything you can to like not get it? And the answer was yes. So I started questioning that. It also takes away from whatever you are stressing about. You're thinking about something else. You're thinking, why am I thinking about this? Like, what's happened for me to think that? And I found that that didn't necessarily take it away, but it sort of helped ease the thoughts and everything that was going on in my mind. Didn't obviously fix the physiological tight chest and not being able to breathe quite straight away, but I don't think there's much you can do for that to go away straight away. But definitely questioning why I was stressing about that, trying to assure yourself that, and trusting that your housemates, your friends, your family are doing everything in their power to stay safe and not get sick, or depending on what you're stressing about. Obviously, this isn't always going to have stuff to do with COVID-19. It's just what's going on in everyone's lives at the moment. And I'm just using it as an example. But if you were stressing about something else, you could question anything, really. The second thing is practice focused deep breathing. Now, there are definitely YouTube videos, tutorials on how to do deep breathing. In through the nose, hold it for 3 seconds, out through the mouth for 5. I think, is that it? I'm not sure. But something like that, that can honestly help you like relax the diaphragm and everything, and try to get like more oxygen in. Obviously that helps a lot more physiologically, but I was doing that, and I found it did help. It didn't help loosen the chest, but I felt more relaxed, I guess, which in turn obviously eventually brought everything back down to homeostasis. Especially if you're more like, if your panic attack is more like you know, like really freaking out about something and not knowing what to do, not being able to breathe, that can really help. Aromatherapy is another big one. I have a little diffuser beside my bed, and I have a few essential oils. I've actually got this lavender one that's really good for de-stressing, and I did find that that really helped too. Like, I put that on, and again, it's not going to be a miracle cure. It's not just going to be like, okay, anxiety gone, but it definitely helped calm me and like bring me to a place of like, okay, just chill. And I think those things sort of really always help me, but again, they're not going to help everyone. I suppose it's just finding what works for you, and I'm sure a lot of you know what works for you if you do experience anxiety as well. And the fourth thing I have here is go for a walk or do 15 minutes of yoga or Pilates or something that you know you can take your mind off. If you're great at meditation, you're great at like just clearing your mind, that would be fantastic. I am not that great. I have just downloaded Chloe Zepp's Bloom app, and I have been utilizing that. That would have been great at the time that I was experiencing this, but I did not have it at the time. But going for a walk, so that's a big thing for me. Going for a walk is something I do when I'm really stressed, and it helps like so much, especially for me. Like those 2 days I didn't get out of bed, but now I've incorporated it as a long-term thing into every day. I go for a walk every morning and it just helps set up my day, clears my mind, breathing's good, everything's good. And the 5th thing I had was write down your thoughts. So of course it's like iridescent and rainbow. But yeah, writing down your thoughts is like sort of a great way. It kind of gets it on here, gets it out of your mind, puts it onto paper, and it kind of, I don't know, I think it's like a psychological thing, but for me it really feels like a weight's been lifted off my shoulders, like onto the paper. I don't know, I think it's a real psychological thing, but it helped me anyway. I did write down how I was feeling, when I started feeling it, what sort of sensations and things were happening, and what I was stressed about, and honestly, like, it helped. So those were some short-term things. Obviously there are other short-term things that you can do. Maybe you're big on music or big on listening to, even I suppose white noise could help. Anything that will literally just drown everything out. Listen to your favorite album, watch a movie if that works for you, watch your favorite show. Just do anything that really chills you out. Have a bath, light some candles, have a bath, do some cleaning, clean out your room. It was just the fact that it was almost like debilitating for me, and because I hadn't experienced it before, I just didn't want to move. I didn't want to do anything. But if I suppose if it happened again, I would be prepared for it, and if I felt exactly what I felt then, I would know, okay, I'm having a panic attack, or I'm just really anxious, and I would know that it's just that, especially when I'm not in a pandemic like we are. And I would just try my best to go about doing things normally. But I guess that wasn't an option for me because I was stressing so much about it. But now I know when it happens again to do those things and know that they will help, because they helped the last time. Another short-term tip that I saw actually floating around TikTok actually was this girl who said she gets a lot of anxiety attacks. She experiences a lot of panic and anxiety attacks. She said that obviously you won't always have access to a lemon or a lime, but apparently if you can feel something coming on, or if you are feeling really anxious or stressed about something, if you like go downstairs or go to the kitchen and cut open a lime or a lemon and just shove it in your mouth, it actually stops everything from happening, like physiologically and psychologically and whatever, and just like focuses on the fact that you've got something really sour in your mouth and like takes away from everything else, which I've never tried that, so I can't vouch for it. And obviously, again, not a medical professional, but she said that it really helps her, and it had a lot of people like commenting and saying it worked for them too. Definitely going to be trying that one next time. Make sure to always have a lemon or a lime in your kitchen. And now moving on to some of the more long-term strategies that I have written down here. I actually got these from a website, so these aren't things that I have come up with. They're from, I'll have to link it in the description box if you do want more information on it, but it was like an actual health, like researched website. So the first one is identify and learn to manage your triggers. Some general triggers may be stressful job or work environment, driving or traveling, genetics, withdrawal from drugs or medication, trauma, side effects of certain medications, phobias, other mental illnesses, caffeine, or of course global pandemics. So yeah, know your triggers. My trigger was obviously coronavirus. It's not to say I won't have more obviously in the future, and different things that trigger different anxieties and things, but obviously day to day people have different triggers. Some people don't like traveling. Some people have phobias. I cannot deal with spiders. If there's a spider in my room, I will not be able to sleep. It needs to be relocated outside or killed. But that's a much lower level of stress or anxiety for me. But everyone has different things and different triggers that will bring on anxiety or a possible panic attack. So it's good to identify your triggers and know how to manage them. And by managing them, I mean taking yourself away from that trigger or trying to distract yourself from that trigger if it's not possible to get away from. Second thing is daily or routine meditation. So if you start meditating every day, or you start incorporating that sort of thing, or yoga, or like daily exercise, something that you do daily, it's going to bring you back down to a place where you can control your emotions, you're aware of what's going on. It makes sense, and it's probably a good thing. Most of us should probably do something like that daily. I feel like it would really help in the long term too, because you'd be more aware of your thoughts and be able to control those thoughts and triggers when they do come on as well. Tip 3 they put was try supplements or changing your diet. Again, I don't have enough knowledge, I feel, to speak on that topic, but I do know that obviously certain foods can trigger not necessarily anxiety, but obviously if you're eating a really poor diet versus eating a really healthy diet, poor diet isn't going to be fantastic for anything going on in your life. Not necessarily all just anxiety and everything, but obviously a healthier diet and healthy exercise routine is going to be better for your health and well-being. And then tip 4 was basically on the same sort of lines. Keep your mind and body healthy. Fuel yourself with the right foods, drink lots of water, don't drink too much alcohol, everything that any person has ever told you, it just makes sense. Exercise frequently. Just make sure you're doing keeping yourself healthy, eating well, exercising, and just like keeping a healthy mind, body, soul. Do things that make you feel good. Limit yourself to things that make you stressed, or if there's things that you can change in the workplace, if there's something you can change to get to work that stresses you out, like make those little changes and see if that helps. And the 5th thing was ask your doctor. And this is probably the biggest thing that I did want to mention because, again, not a medical professional. If you are experiencing anxiety more than you think you should, or panic attacks or anxiety attacks more than you think you should be, definitely seek help. Like, go and see a doctor. They will have proper medical advice to give you. You could see, they might even refer you to a psychologist or a counselor who can also help and probably have better tips than I could give. There's also plenty of resources online. There's people you can talk to online these days or on the phone. You don't always necessarily have to go in to see someone if you don't want to. There are just so many resources, like endless ways that you can seek help these days, which is fantastic. Yeah, and even if you were like experiencing something and you were freaking out, you can honestly, the fact that you can hop online and almost instantly chat to someone that you like if you need help is fantastic. Yeah, especially around this time, I feel like Beyond Blue and like Kids Helpline and like all of those sorts of organizations have a lot more people working online 24/7 to help those who need it. It makes sense. Like, people are stressing, the world is freaking out. Obviously I'm here, we're all here if you want to have us like chat in the comments about something, but obviously if there is something super pressing and more serious than I can manage or any of us together as a family can manage, then you should definitely seek professional help, because it's not fun. And there are definitely medications and things you can go on. Not saying you should, not saying you shouldn't, but yeah, there's definitely help out there for those who need it, and there's things that you can take and things that you can incorporate into your daily routine to help. Okay, well obviously I've been filming for a while because the lighting has completely changed and my hair is pretty much dry from playing with it throughout the whole video, so sorry about that. I hope you guys enjoyed. I guess we'll know by now if you guys liked this video or not. If you did and you'd like more in-depth D&M type videos like this, then give this video a thumbs up. Ask or say anything you would like to in the comments. I will be replying to all of them. And yeah, Tuesday's video will be a lot more light-hearted and less deep and intense, but I just thought it sort of had to be spoken about, and I didn't really want to tiptoe around it, mentioning it briefly in other videos that are entertaining and different. I didn't mean to sort of like trigger anyone by this as well. I just think it's a good, healthy thing to do, like have an open conversation about things that you guys might be feeling and the way I've been feeling and stuff, because there's no point hiding it, and in fact talking about it helps, I feel. So yeah, I love you all so much and I will see you in my next video on Tuesday. Bye.